Hello, boys and girls, it's me. I want to do a math lesson with you, okay? We're going to talk about fractions. What do you remember about fractions? I can think about fractions when I think about, a pizza pie. I can think about fractions when I think about the number of boys we have in the class compared to the number of girls we have in the class. So what I want you to think about is what you know already. All right, I'm going to pause it and I want you to write down what's the fraction of the number of pieces in a pizza if it's cut up into 8 slices and you eat one of them. What's the fraction of the piece you ate? Okay, I'll wait for you to think about that and write it down. What did you need to think about to be able to come up with that fraction? You had to think about how many pieces it was cut into, and I said 8. And then you had to think about how many pieces of the 8 was I talking about, the one that you ate. Well, that's one piece. What do we call that fraction when we write it like that? That's right, it's called 1/8, or 1 out of 8. It's like when we're talking about decimals and we're talking about tenths. You have to put that spit into it when you're talking about fractions too. So if I was eating one piece of the pizza and the pizza was cut up into 8 slices, that would be 1/8 of the pizza that I was eating. Okay? Now look, I've got some stones here. They're from a game that we've been playing while we've been home called Sequence. How many do I have there in the whole group? Well, I can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's how many I have in my whole set. Now, how many of that set are blue? Can you write that one down for me? How many of the set are blue? You write it down? Okay, let's think about it. How many were in the set altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whoops, I'm writing backwards because I'm seeing it in the... I wonder if I am. And how many of those stones are blue? 4. So I would call that 4/10. 4/10 of the set are blue. Right? Now tell me if you remember, or have you ever learned or heard, what do we call this top number? That number that we're talking about out of the whole group. Whether it's the 4 blue stones or the 1 piece of pizza. That top number in a fraction has a special name. Do you remember what it is? It starts with an N, because you're talking about the number of pieces in the whole group. This time we were talking about 1 piece of pizza. Here we were talking about 4 blue stones. The number on the top is called the numerator. Okay, that's the numerator. That's the top number. It's the part of the fraction that tells you what you're counting that's special in the group. What's the number on the bottom called? It's the number of pieces the set is broken into or divided into. This set has got 10 pieces in it. The pizza had 8 pieces in it because it was cut into 8 slices. So what we're talking about in a fraction is called the denominator, the number of pieces it's broken into. It's the number of parts in the set. . And the numerator is the number of pieces. And remember, numerator kind of starts the same way as number. The number of parts we're talking about. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. I'll make a copy of this and I'll put it into the Google Doc that we're going to be using for this lesson. Okay? Let's look at another set. I have some cards. We've been playing a lot of cards lately, so I have cards around all the time. Oops. Okay. How would you write that as a fraction? I'm going to ask you to focus on the red card. There's only one red card. And how many cards have we got in our whole set? What's the number of cards we've got there? There's one card that's red out of the whole set. I want you to write down in the Google Doc what the fraction would be. Okay? You go do that, and then you can work on the assignment that I put into the Google Doc as well. Okay? Have you got it written down? What would it be? I have one red card out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're right. That would be called 1/8. 1/8 of the set is red. What's left over? How many of the cards, what's the fraction of the cards that are black? If 1/8 is red, how many are black? I have 1/8 that is red. I have 8 in the whole set. How many will be black? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So when I put those two parts together, I get 8 cards out of all the 8 cards I'm talking about. And that means I've got one whole set. Okay? The one red card, the 7 black cards, gives me the whole set of cards, 8 8s. But every time you have a numerator that's the same as the denominator, it means I'm talking about all of the parts that my group is made up of. There is 8 cards. I'm talking about all 8 cards, so I'm talking about one set. So 8 8s is a special kind of fraction. It means it's a whole. One whole thing. Okay? So these are proper fractions. This is a whole number. And this is a special fraction because the numerator and the denominator are the same thing. Whenever that happens, you're talking about one whole group of something. Okay? Good work, you guys. Have fun doing the assignment.